Hello everyone, welcome to the Ink Storm. My name is Ink, and welcome to another episode of Love, Death and Ranting, the series where I and my special guests discuss the Netflix animated anthology of a similar name. Say hello.
Hello, I am Ari, also known as Awfulwaful, and I am here with the cats meowing. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.
The kitties, they love you, and they have thoughts.
Of course, now they shut the fuck up. But okay, I don't know what's going on. Sorry. So I've moved into a different place. My desk is in a different area, which is more open, and I can't shut down the spaces easily. So there might be cat noises now, from now on. Just as a warning.
I know from one YouTuber that I follow that the addition of random cat sounds to a video does nothing to reduce its quality.
That's true. Cats only up the quality, even if they spike my allergies.
Yes, well. So, Today we're talking about episode 9, The Dump. As usual, spoiler warnings. We're going to be talking pretty explicitly about whatever episode we're discussing, and content warnings. Nudity, violence,
blood.
Yeah.
Coarse language, I guess. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know if I've actually given that one before. It's like all of them have some kind of curse in it, feels like. Except for the yogurt.
I think they might do, yeah. Also, mentioned in our last episode that Good Hunting was the only one that I could think of that included full frontal male nudity. This is not in fact true. There is dangly penis in this one.
Well, it's not full frontal male nudity because his nips aren't showing. He's still got a shirt on. And...
If we're going to be technical, yes, you are correct.
I want my facts straight, damn it. It's the only thing in my life that is.
You beat me to it. So The Dump. I kind of feel like we're both making stupid jokes to avoid talking about this one, because I know I, for one, I'm not sure what you can actually say about this one.
Yeah, it's
not even like the yogurt episode where its absurdity is worth talking about in its own right. This is just a thing.
Yeah, and it's one of those weird, like... I guess this is actually the one thing I can talk about this episode for and English gooder is this is kind of a case where this is not my type of humor. I'm not one for gross out humor. It's just it doesn't bother me, but I'm just sort of like, okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
Like, there are ways to do gross out humor that are funny to me, but it's very rarely just like, he's peeing, ha ha ha. Like, that does not make me laugh. Shit, what was I gonna say? Jesus. The cat's meowing in the background have distracted me entirely. That's how little this episode impacted me. Oh, right. Okay, sorry. So, yeah, gross out humor does not really do it for me, but this is kind of a case where it didn't go far enough, if that's the route it was going to go down.
Yeah.
It kind of starts that direction, and then it does not, like, it doesn't really follow through, and it just kind of becomes this average kind of like, oh, there's a monster in the dump, and it's just a monster, and that's what it does, and oh, it ate that guy, oh, wacky. Like... That's it, yeah. And it's just kind of boring. Like,
there's not much to be said about this one.
Yeah.
Like the main thing that springs to mind for me talking about this episode is that if you go through the list of voice actors who had parts in Love, Death and Robots, The Dump actually has one of the bigger names. That being Nolan North, who is one of those people who you don't necessarily put an immediate voice to, but it's got one of those voices which you realize you just hear everywhere, particularly in video games and animation.
I mean, you say that, but it's like, I can't remember jack shit about names of actors and people anyway, so...
Sure. So, yeah.
It's kind of gross. It's not hugely funny. This is one of the only times in because I mean, I've sung the praises of the visual design of a lot of these things, even if the content of the episode is not very good. This one is kind of bland, weirdly.
It's
like even the monster. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's got a similar kind of exaggerated style as Sonny's Edge had. Maybe pushed a little bit further into caricature.
Yeah, it's definitely more into cartoony.
Yeah, but Sonny's Edge worked with putting a lot of detail and life into everything, and this is mostly. It's like I sometimes hear games reviewers complaining about how a lot of modern games are just grey and brown. And this has a similar thing going. It's a dump, and there's not a great deal interesting there.
Yeah, it's
like the models for the people who show up, even they're not particularly interesting. They're just cardboard cutout stereotype caricatures in a lot of ways.
They don't stand out from the background very well either.
Yeah.
Which, if they were trying to make a point with the main character, Dvorak, blending in with the dump, then they should have made the other two humans that we see stand out better. And they don't really. The most we get is the even the guy that comes in who's not. Like he's an office dude. He's a fucking asshole who's not down on his luck at all, and not dirty, and he's wearing a bright white shirt, and he still fucking blends in. Like he's not very stark against it.
Yeah.
And that's weird. Like to me, that is just visually speaking, I'm amazed that happened.
Especially with this, like there are some styles, some genres, some settings where. Okay, sure, that's a thing. Like, look at something like going outside of the realms of animation. If you look at something like Game of Thrones, that has a very bland color palette for the most part because, sort of low fantasy, medieval, there's going to be a lot of mud. But this is animation, and like if you don't have an interesting visual color palette to work with and all that kind of shit, then you need something else instead, and this doesn't really have that.
Yeah. And like with Game of Thrones, like I don't watch Game of Thrones. I got through 3 episodes and I was kind of like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, full disclosure, we both got through 3 episodes and then gave up on it.
Yeah, you've read the books, right?
I've read the books. I think we gave up on it for similar reasons, but came at it from different angles, which we often do.
Yeah. But I cannot fault that show for its visual... it's not visually bland. Yeah, it doesn't have a very vibrant color palette. It doesn't have a very diverse color palette in a lot of places.
Yeah.
But it is the cinematography, the set pieces, the costumes, all work really well. They're just beautiful. It's just a beautiful show.
Lord of the Rings being another good example for that kind of thing.
Exactly. Like, the most colorful places we see are the most green places, but even that is not a intensely vibrant color palette. Like, Hobbiton is very vibrant, but they also use that to match the mood, I think, in a lot of places, which is also good. But we're getting off beside the point. The point, even the thing that bothers me, I think, is maybe this is because this is where my interests lie. The monster is not interesting. like, the monster is... I understand that he's supposed to be, or it, whatever, is supposed to be an amalgam of all of the shit from the dump, but, like, he doesn't have a very good silhouette. He is intensely visually busy to the point that I don't even know, like, what I'm looking at half the time when I see him. There are ways to do busy creatures that work well, and there are ways that they kind of suck, and this one, I feel like, could have been way better, and it's kind of depressing because seeing him the first time around, I could not have told you what the fuck he looked like, having just seen it once. Like, even vague, like, he's kind of slug-shaped. That's about as far as I would be able, with a big mouth. That is as far as I would get for you. This time I have a little bit more detail, well, with a dog attached and a dead guy, I guess. This time, like, I would have a little bit more detail, but, like, not much. And that's not great. That's not, like, that's not good design. Whether it's because of the fact that he is stuck into this bland world that he blends into completely, or whether it's because the design itself was not brilliantly thought through. I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to know more about the production. And it's like I'm sure somebody poured a lot of love into that design, and I don't like shitting on people's work. Because by itself, it probably looks great. But as it is in the thing, it's like, it's forgettable. A monster should not be forgettable.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the summation of the dump. I forgot this episode existed until we came back to it.
I only remembered because the peeing scene grossed me out, to be honest.
It's fair. And in trying to talk about it, we keep going on tangents about other shit because there's not much to say.
Yeah, there's just not a lot, unfortunately. Could have been much better. It needed to either embrace a more visually appealing style or color palette or something, design, some variety of design problem.
Yeah.
Or it needed to go whole hog and just embrace the gross. Have Pearly literally shit himself. Something like that. You know? Like, just go for it. Like, it's not my kind of humor, but if you're gonna go for that kind of thing and you're you want to make it stand out, you gotta fucking punch it through.
Like, this is an anthology series where the blueprint from the beginning was different authors, different production teams, different directors, different stories. You're allowed to make a whole bunch of shit, which not necessarily everyone is going to enjoy. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
And if they'd done that, then we'd have come out of this episode going, okay, fine. This wasn't really our thing, but we'd have more to talk about.
Yeah.
It's like going through the list of episodes. I mentioned in the last episode that we've kind of peaked, and that a lot of the rest of this is less interesting. But I think the dump is probably, out of all of these, the one which we're going to have the least to talk about with, because it's just unambitious.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways.
Agreed. Because I've seen this kind of aesthetic and humor done better before, years ago. The original StarCraft cutscenes. Like, yeah, it was more sci-fi, but, you know, you had little shorts about idiots out in the fucking boonies. Everything was dirty. There was, like, zero color palette. And it was dumb. It was funny.
Yeah, it even had similar visual style in a way. Like the opening cutscene for the original StarCraft had people with those kind of exaggerated features in them.
Yeah, barring the fact that it's 8,000 years old at this point.
It's ancient.
Yeah.
The technology has not aged well, although it still works. The original StarCraft is just lovely. But yeah, I guess the bottom line is this is an episode which we came out of with not much to say, and we're probably going to forget about it as soon as we move on. It's unremarkable.
Yep.
Probably the nicest thing I can say about it is that I find it hard to be offended by any aspect of it, which, is puts it above The Witness.
You're not wrong.
I mean, putting something being better than The Witness is, not exactly a bar, it's more like a subterranean pipe, but... and now we have creaking doors in the background.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, any other thoughts, or...
No, that is all I got.
Yeah. Alright, well, next time we're going to be talking about shapeshifters, which is, it's interesting, it has its issues, but, it's at least creative, which, is more than I can say for this one. I mean, it has its own shit going on, but, this is Love, Death and Robots. Every episode has its problems. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this series.
Yep.
Yeah. Anywho, you will have that to look forward to in the near future. Until then, I've been Inque.
And I have been a severe disappointment to my parents.
Aww. Damn, that went dark.
I'm making YouTube videos again.
Oh.
Are you proud of me, Mom?
Fair enough, I suppose.
She'd probably just find this amusing, to be honest, so that's something at least.
Yeah, at least we have some kind of audience.
Hi, Mom! Bye!